Welcome back to Girl Talk. Sean is still with me. Thanks for being here, as always. And so we just kind of wrapped up talking about TVs and what's going on there. And now we're kind of getting into, again, with everybody being home and things, but we're getting into one of the seasons where people like to, maybe go outside. We're going to have a football season in some way, shape, or form. So we've got some things that we want to be doing outside. So talk to us about what you can offer in terms of technology to make it a great outdoor space.
Yeah. So, I know it might not feel like it yet, but fall's definitely coming.
Right.
Hopefully.
One of these days.
We'll
stop sweating.
So we like to be outside,
Yes.
right? Particularly when football season hits, watching some games outside, cooking out, those kind of things. So one thing that we've been seeing a lot of is people wanting to revamp those spaces in their home.
Sure.
And really it comes down to your screen, what kind of TV you want. Do you want an outdoor TV? Or is it going to be covered, a little bit more protected? And then how are you going to listen to it? What kind of sound? Particularly when you're in an open space, or people want to kind of cover a bigger space,
right?
Because you might be, out throwing the ball with the kids and want to listen to the game. So you want to make sure that your sound is all around your yard there.
And how does one do that?
Yeah. So we'll start with the TV.
Okay.
So you've got indoor TVs, your regular TVs, so to speak.
Right.
Some people can put them outside, and they'll survive for a little bit, but they're not designed to be out there, particularly in this coastal weather that we have.
Yeah.
It doesn't last that long. So with a little bit bigger investment, you can go with an outdoor TV that really brings in two things. One, it's brighter, so it's designed to be able to see outside.
Okay.
We've all experienced that where you look at a screen outside and you can't
Right.
see it.
Yeah, you have to go stand in the shade or do,
Yeah, do this kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it kind of tackles that problem. The other thing is they're waterproof. So they're designed to be outside to deal with all the elements and be able to survive. And they can last, several years out in this harsh weather that we've got around here.
Yeah. And that's really interesting. Because, you see them in restaurants, at homes, you see them outside all the time. And I guess I just never really thought about the fact that it would have to be a totally different product.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to be, but it's definitely one of those things it's going to give you a better experience if you go with an outdoor TV.
Well, and you're going to be replacing it less frequently.
Exactly. So there's always that cost-benefit analysis that's got to go into it.
Yeah.
And then the other side is sound. How's that going to work? Is it going to be in-ceiling speakers in your patio, or are they going to be landscape speakers throughout your landscaping? There's all kinds of options.
Or is it both, maybe?
It can be both as well. Yeah. And then there's a huge range in terms of the quality as well. We've got some speaker lines that we carry that are very small and high, and they do a very good job of giving you sound. And then other ones that are a little bit bigger, they're landscape bollard looks, but they are incredible sound. Like top-level stereo sound. So if you've got that kind of taste, if you love great sound and you want it outside, that's still an option as well.
Well, and we talked last segment about hiding things if you were going to do a projection TV. Mm-hmm. And you just said about landscape. How do you hide them? How does it look like part of your landscaping?
Yeah, so pretty much when you got a speaker, all you got to do is get a speaker wire out to it.
Okay.
And that's going to be buried somehow.
Sure.
And then you're going to have a little hub somewhere, a rack potentially that's got your amplification and your sources. So whether it's a radio or a streaming device or your cable box hooked up to it, and it's pretty simple. It's just a matter of getting the wire out to where it's going. So with almost everything that we do, and I say it all the time, is the earlier we get involved, the better. Particularly if you're building or you're doing some re-landscaping.
Right.
Instead of getting it all nice and done, and then we've got to come out and bury it.
Right, and dig it up again.
Exactly. Yeah. We can design and run the wires where they need to be, and then come back later once everything's finished and put the finished speaker in.
And we've mainly talked about it as it relates to hearing the television, mm-hmm. but I'm assuming that there's music and stereo options available too.
Absolutely, yeah. Games aren't on all the time.
Right.
So sometimes you want to just be outside and listen to some good music as you're doing whatever. And there's plenty of options for that. And it can be the same system, just a quick switch over. And so much of it's done from our phones now. It's incredibly simple. At first, it might seem like there's a little learning curve,
right.
But it's so much easier than having a cabinet with a bunch of buttons you got to push.
Okay, so even like somebody like me who still has trouble with remote control, I can figure out how to do this on my phone.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
you'll teach me how to do it.
Yeah. That's one thing we pride ourselves on is making sure that everybody knows what they're getting and how to use it.
And if somebody is thinking about doing this, and they might have that little tickle in the back of their mind that, hey, I'm going to kind of try and do this myself. Yeah. Give us a little cautionary tale as to why that might not be a good idea.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things to take into account that our designers just do intuitively. Particularly one thing is just sound coverage over space and being able to account for that, and not having dead zones in your yard, and just taking a lot of the science of technology into it.
Yeah.
Almost the same kind of thing that we would do if you wanted a theater room inside. Like, hey, you can throw some speakers everywhere, but you're not going to get the best sound unless it's designed properly for the space.
Placed exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that our designers are trained in, is to take all of these different things into account. I try to kind of look at some of the things they do sometimes, and it still blows my mind because I'm not at their level of designers, but they think of a lot of things to take into account to make sure that we're given the best experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much. It's great information, stuff that I didn't know and stuff that I'm sure some of our viewers didn't know. So thank you so much for sharing it with us and being with us again on Girl Talk. And thank you for being with us, and we'll see you next time.